want to be able to take a little bit of time to talk about marriage. Marriage is one of those touchy subjects. Most of the time when marriages are going good, everybody's doing things to help the marriage go better, and there's not a need to watch videos like this. Although I will tell you, many healthy marriages watch videos like this, learn more, practice more, give to more, feed more the marriage than any other marriage that's not doing well. It's just like in school, when children who are really doing well do better, it's because they're getting help and they're getting tutoring and extra lessons on different subjects so they can get stronger and stronger. So when it comes to marriage, I want to be able to point out a few things that might help you actually get your marriage back on track. One of the things that makes marriage so difficult is it gets so polarizing and it gets to be one side against the other. One of the things that I learned a long time ago, you can't get involved with refereeing a marriage match. There's a no-win proposition there. What you have to do is recognize what your part is. That's why this talk is titled Marriage in the Mirror. I want you to look in the mirror. If there's one gift I could give to you right now, it would be to buy one of those little handheld mirrors and just look at it whenever you're thinking about your marriage, whenever you're judging your marriage, whenever you're judging your spouse, whenever you're thinking about you're right, they're wrong. Look in the mirror. I want you to know if a marriage is going to get better, it's going to take you. And by the way, I would be telling that to your spouse as well. But since you're here watching, it's going to take you. You will have to dig deep. And this is just a little glimpse into what you can do. So as I go through these points, just reflect on your own life. Be honest with yourself and look at the things that you are doing and have not been doing in your marriage that could change your whole life. The first point I want to make is, how are you contributing to the success of your marriage? Sounds like maybe a setup question, but it's really honest. There are many people who contribute daily to their marriage and making things better and more fruitful and more loving. So I want you to look honestly at your own life and see, how am I contributing successfully to this marriage? It can be hugs. It can be caring words of I love you and I'll miss you and have a great day. It can be mowing the grass. It could be cooking dinner. There are ways that you can contribute successfully to the marriage. I don't want you to look past those. I want you to just be honest with, well, I am doing some things that are contributing to the success of it. It may not be making it successful, but it's at least contributing. Because sometimes contributing to the success of your marriage is not saying something mean. It's not trying to put the other person down. So look honestly at that. What are the ways that you are contributing to the success of your marriage? And write those down. It never hurts to have a journal or some kind of tablet or pad that you keep notes on. And I don't even care if it's in your phone, as long as you just keep track of these main points. The second one's a little bit tougher. How are you contributing to the destruction of your marriage? And so many people say, I'm not wanting this to be destroyed and to go away. I know that. My point is, we're either moving forward or backward when it comes to marriage. I'm either contributing to my marriage getting better or I'm contributing to my marriage getting worse. There is no stagnation. So even in times where you think it's just calm and still, many times you're doing things that help the marriage. They're just not dramatic. So think about the destructive piece, the words you use, the words you don't say, the things you do that make your spouse feel unloved or not important enough. The things you don't do around the house that could help out and make things better. The coldness, the quietness, the fight, the yelling, the personal comments. So many different things, and I know it's like losing weight. It's so much easier to gain weight than to lose it. It's so much easier to act destructively in a marriage than it is to act fruitfully. So it's hard, but unless you can look at the main keys we're talking about today, unless you can look at the ways you're successfully giving and the ways you're contributing to the destruction of your marriage, you're going to have a very difficult time making anything get better long term. The next step might be a little difficult, and that's for you to learn how to communicate the things you're doing to contribute and the things you're doing to destroy. Learn how to communicate those to your spouse in a healthy way that they can hear it. The best way to do it is in an I message. I'm realizing this about myself. It's not in a you message. It's not in saying, you are hard to get along with. You haven't really made me feel loved. It's not going to be about that. So recognize how you can take those first 2 points, the things I'm doing that really help the marriage, the things I'm doing that hurt the marriage. How do I take those and communicate them just in little bits over time? Doesn't have to be all at once, to my spouse, so that they know I'm thinking about and trying in this marriage to make things better. And if you can communicate those in iMessages that say, I just want you to know I see this happening and I notice this pattern with me and I notice where things are at with our marriage, it can make your spouse feel pretty hopeful sometimes. Because remember, the marriage isn't going to get better without you. So you have to be able to dig deep with that. The next point might sound a little bit like the first one, but it's about your strengths. What are your strengths when it comes to your marriage? What are your strengths when it comes to you as a person living in your marriage? That's not talking about the ways you've contributed to your marriage to make it successful. That's talking about strengths you have that you could use, maybe you're not, maybe you are, but you could use to make life really good in your marriage. What strengths do you have? Are you personable? Are you crafty? Are you super logical thinking where you can work out and problem solve things? Are you extroverted and relationship oriented? Are you thoughtful and remembering gifts for people at different times? What are your strengths as a person that could help you in your marriage? Are you committed? Are you loving? Think about the different things, strengths that you have that you know would be helpful in a marriage. And write them down. Get a piece of paper, get a tablet, get a pad, write them down. Those are the things you want to look back on. The next point is, what kind of husband or wife do you want to be? Not who you are, not who you think you can be, not what your limits are based on who your spouse is. What kind of husband or wife do you want to be, really? Why aren't you being that person? And be honest with yourself. This is where journaling comes in. Write it down, type it in your phone, put it somewhere. But ask yourself, what kind of husband or wife do you want to be? And why aren't you being that person? The last piece of this one part is, what will it take for you to be that person? Because if you're not being the real husband you can be because of your wife, then you're going to have to get over that. You've got your stuff to deal with as a husband. What's it going to take for me to step up on top of this big mountain and say, I need to be that husband for her because it's who I need to be? That's the integrity piece. So what kind of husband or wife do you want to be? What's keeping you from being that person? And what will it take to make the tide turn, to become that person? What kind of energy, what kind of strength, what kind of willpower, what kind of commitment will it take for me to actually be that person? The next point, take a week. Take a solid week and show your spouse how you feel about them and the way that you act, in your body language, in your tone of voice, in your volume, in the words you use, in the things you do. Show them how you feel about them. Show them whether you're excited to see them. Show them whether you're committed and interested and invested. Show them whether you will help out even when you shouldn't, or even when it's not appreciated. Show them for a week the kind of husband or wife you can be, and focus on nothing other than you and what you're trying to do. Not what you're getting back, not what reward you should have, not what appreciation you should have, not what 100% you're giving and 0% they're giving. No scorekeeping. Just take a week and show your spouse. It's not gonna hurt. If things are bad in your marriage, maybe the best thing you can do is to take a week and just focus on you and what you're doing to show your spouse how important they are, to show your spouse how much you want the marriage, and to show your spouse that you're not giving up. Take a week to do that. And by the way, journal, as I said before. Write it down day by day. How's it going? How depressed do you feel? How miserable? How let down? How discouraged? How hopeful? How possible does everything seem? How encouraged do you feel because you're now focusing on you? The last point is a summary of all the other points, and it's really to journal. I want you to keep track of this, whether it's on your phone, whether it's on a tablet, whether you type it, whether you write it, whether you speak it, whether you do a video blog on your phone. Get it down. Take a daily accounting of what's going on. Get down what it is that's going well, what it is that's not going well. Journal how your marriage is going. Just take this 1 week. Follow those points one by one. Take a piece of paper, take a phone and type it in. Go point by point. to this video and write down honestly how you feel and honestly where you see things and honestly where you want things to go. Because if you want your marriage to end, I can promise you it will end. If you want your marriage to survive, I can't promise you it will. But I can promise you, you can do everything possible on your side to keep it from happening. And that's a really big thing. Go over these points, watch this video again, journal it, document it. I promise you, if you look in the mirror and you focus on you, you're going to be more proud, you're going to be more encouraged, and you're going to be more grateful than you ever have been putting that mirror down and not looking in it. Go out there and take on the day. I know you can do it.